told coach, I was like, there's no way on average, like, these guys, like, they're probably not going all the way down on their squats. Let's them have a faster time. He's like, no, I know their coach. Like, they're doing things the right way. So I go back home, and really my first CrossFit experience, I bust out the workout in like 9.5 minutes, something like that. So I went from 22 to 9 minutes, right? And like, I'm dying. Like, it was a 9-minute workout, and I'm laying on the floor next to the trash can for a half hour. The next time I go to Coach Bergner's, I emailed him this, my time. I go to Coach Bergner's, I walk up the driveway there, and he's like, there's this guy in Santa Cruz, Greg Amundsen. He did it in 8:50 or something. It was a better time than mine.
Oh, man.
And I said, he can have it. I'm never doing that stuff again. Forget about it.
This is technically the official start.
Okay, so we're live.
I had to like warm you up a little bit and get you live. How are you doing? Welcome to the podcast, What Drives You Project. We're here with Josh Everett. You might know him from being an OG CrossFitter and like one of the, I don't know, for me, you're kind of like an idol, and I'm kind of like keeping my little kid self like down very, very hard for most of this. But I mean, I've seen you enough times where I've kind of warmed up.
Yeah, the whole thing, it's funny. I've gotten used to it because it's been 15 years now of kind of getting that reaction, that response for people, but I still view myself as just a guy that liked to work out. Yeah. And I happen to be good at working out, and I kind of still like, well, what's the big deal, you know?
I mean, you're still kind of pretty good at working out and stuff. I mean, if most people follow you on Instagram, I follow you on Instagram, and I'm like, God, he's still doing that? I need to go pick up a barbell. This hurts. But anyway, so we're here with you, and we're going to talk about a little bit of like what's going on with you now, like what's your history. Like, can you give the audience like just a brief history of who you are, what you've done, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so if we go back, I guess keeping it career-wise, I've been a strength and conditioning coach for a little over 20 years now. So about a dozen of those at a university setting. So worked at Ohio University, UCLA, and UC Riverside. And then the last 8 years I've been with the military doing strength and conditioning. And CrossFit wise, I got into CrossFit I think around 2002. I was actually Olympic lifting for Mike Bergner was my coach, and I was competing in Olympic lifting while I was working at UCLA.
Were you competing in Olympic lifting before you got introduced to CrossFit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So
you knew Coach from when he was still at UCLA?
No, he was at Rancho Buena Vista High School, but I got my first full-time job out at UCLA in 1999, and when I arrived there, a couple of the strength coaches there were competing in weightlifting, and their coach was Mike Bergner. Every Saturday they would drive down to San Diego to train at Coach's garage.
Good old Bonsall.
Hasn't changed too much in that regard. Yeah. And they're like, hey, there's this great high school strength coach you got to meet. And I met Coach Bergner, and I soon started training the Olympic lifts and competing in weightlifting under Coach's guidance. Yeah. And he then introduced me a few years after that, maybe 3 or 4 years, said, hey, there's this workout I think you should try. And
what was it?
It was 21, 18, 15, all the way down to 3.
He made you do that? Oh my God, that's miserable.
And I want to say it was back squats, strict press, sit-ups, That might have been it. There might have been in pull-ups, which were strict. I didn't know.
And it was in his garage, right?
Back then. Well, he gave me. I was there for a weightlifting session, and he's like, "Here's this workout you should try." And I didn't do it. I looked at it, and it's like, "Coach, I don't even warm up with 95 pounds." And at the time, I had ran track in college, and I was still doing track workouts. I was doing kettlebells. I was doing sandbags. I was doing everything under the sun. As well as weightlifting, which Coach didn't like, by the way. He wanted me to stop doing everything and be a weightlifter. And,
I mean, he is
move up a couple weight classes as well, which I'm glad. There's not a lot that I've ignored. Mostly, I've done 99% of what Coach Bergner's told me to do, but I'm glad that I ignored that because I was obviously ready for CrossFit when it came around. But I didn't do the workout, and then just kind of left it like, oh, that looks kind of silly. I don't need to do that. I did all this other stuff for conditioning. But my buddy did the workout. He did it in like a half hour. And one day I was like, I can do it faster than that.
Yeah.
So I did the workout in like 22 minutes. And my buddy came back. He did the workout in 20 minutes. And I'm like, there's no way I'm letting that guy beat me. So
who's this guy?
Stefan Roche, who
Stefan.
A lot of the people in the community will know.
He's old school.
If you're old school and you went through a level 1 in San Diego,
Stefan did my level 1.
Stefan was probably there, probably the flow master for that. But
did it at USD.
Okay.
Yeah.
So me and him actually worked together at UCLA.
Okay.
We were strength coaches together at UCLA, and he's back there now as a strength coach again.
Is he still on staff?
Nope. He stopped working for CrossFit maybe a year ago to pursue the college. The college coaching game is a grind.
Yeah.
So I think he wanted to get back in there, enjoys working with the kids, and wanted to get back on some real hands-on coaching. So he went back. But anyways, so he beats me, and I go back and I do the workout.
Second time.
Yeah, beats me second time. I go back, I do the workout in like 14 and a half minutes.
14?
So yep, and then Coach Bergner, and he goes, hey, there's this outfit in Santa Cruz, and I think my time was 14:20. He's like, their average was 14:30. And I said, average? I was like, Coach, there's no way, there's no group in this world that at working out I'm average at. I was like, and at the time, gotta understand, back then, the only people who did full range of motion squats were weightlifters and occasionally college professional athletes that had legitimate trainers. Full squats were not a common thing. And
because what is the typical college thing? Just power clean, maybe deadlift, and then
sometimes. But there were a lot of colleges doing things the right way. But for a commercial place to be doing legitimate exercise, legitimate exercise as we know it, proper range of motion, exercise selection, and all that stuff was unheard of back then. So I told Coach, I was like, there's no way I'm average. These guys, they're probably not going all the way down on their squats. Let's them have a faster time. He's like, no, I know their coach. They're doing things the right way. So I go back home, and really my first CrossFit experience, I bust out the workout in 9.5 minutes, something like that. So I went from 22 to 9 minutes, right? And I'm dying. It was a 9-minute workout, and I'm laying on the floor next to the trash can for a half hour. The next time I go to Coach Bergner's, I emailed him this, my time. I go to Coach Bergner's, I walk up the driveway there, and he's like, there's this guy in Santa Cruz, Greg Amundsen. He did it in 8:50 or something. It was a better time than mine.
Oh, man.
And I said, he can have it. I'm never doing that stuff again. Forget about it. Soon after that, Glassman actually invited me to, I believe it was the first public level 1.
Okay. And this was at the ranch, or
no? This was at Colorado State Patrol.
Okay.
They set the thing up, and basically I think paid Coach Glassman to come do a seminar, and then they charged their own thing. I think that was actually the start of
the seminar.
Of the seminar. It wasn't the first one, but it was the start of the concept that people from all over would come. You could put this on the calendar, and this thing was going to sell, right? I was, Glassman invited me, and I said, hey, is that Greg Amundsen going to be there? He said yes. He was like, I'm in.
Were you guys the first like lunchtime workout level 1 staff guys?
This wasn't even that. So I know we're getting way off topic.
Oh no, this is great. This is
somewhat. So we get there. I literally only went because I wanted to go head to head with Greg Amundsen, right? Good. Like that was all I really cared about. It ended up being a great experience, a great seminar, way different than the level 1 seminars are now. Yeah. But great experience, great people there. Of course. What
would like be like the big delineation? Obviously, like time is a big thing and stuff. But
this was 3 days, and Greg did a lot of presentations, like the basic, what is fitness, what is CrossFit. Did some breakout groups, but there were a ton of guest speakers as well. Like Coach Bergner was a guest speaker and taught the Olympic lifts there that weekend. So it was a whole collection of a bunch of different people doing different things, and definitely loosely organized. And another big one, like it was 3 days, and it was like 3 workouts a day. Over 3 days. So people got crushed in the old days. But it was good. So anyways,
like the true fruition of rhabdo.
Yeah. Like it's probably it's partly where it came from. Yeah. But at least that connection to CrossFit. But anyways, so
did you beat Greg?
We go there. So yes, and no. So technically yes, but we go there, and I believe the first workout we did was Fran.
Oh, so that's your second. This is your second CrossFit workout, technically.
I might have been doing stuff in between there, but I've definitely never done Fran.
So this is just your first lady then.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. For sure.
Yeah.
So the thing was, like back then, like now, the competition's a good thing, but it was kind of like this was just the whole competitive aspect of it was just starting. So literally. The seminar was the workout was in a gymnasium, basketball gymnasium. It had along one side of the court, like lengthways, there were pull-up bars all on the wall.
Oh, the old school like PVC or the
like attached to the wall.
Yep. Non-rogue.
To de-emphasize like the, I don't want to say animosity, but the competitiveness between me and Greg, they literally put me at one end and Greg at the total end. So there's like a dozen people in between me and Greg. It wasn't like they put us right next to each other. A dozen people at the end.
So you and Greg Amundsen were like the original like Fraser and Froning. Like everyone was like, let's go.
Yeah, I guess people wanted to see that.
This is the excited stuff.
Because they know, because back then, and I don't know that I was on it yet, but back then everybody posted their times on the main site.
Oh yeah, so let's talk about that briefly. Like the main site isn't exactly what it was back in the day. It was just like a straight up like WordPress blog, and they put the actual like workout, and then you in the comments below you guys kept posting your
comments posted your times. Yeah. So getting off topic a little bit, like going to the first CrossFit games, I mean everybody, you kind of already knew where everybody stood because 95% of the people at the ranch that year posted their times every single day. But anyways, yes, I beat Greg and Fran that day.
Just want to emphasize that part.
But I beat them by maybe 5 or 10 seconds. But here's where I say that maybe I didn't beat them. We're in Colorado at altitude. I finished the workout, and I want to say, so my first Fran time, I think it was like 2:48 or something. And this is me not even knowing kipping pull-ups. Like there was some body English there for sure.
My best is 2:45.
So that was my first Fran, but I was done. Like I was, I missed the next lecture for sure. I didn't do any of the workouts the rest of the day. I was still wheezing the next morning when I woke up, and I went out in the parking lot, back inside, trying to find like where I could breathe. And I was sitting there, and in my mind I was going, I'm going to be the idiot that dies because his ego is too big to call an ambulance. And then the other side was like, I can't call an ambulance. All these people are going to see me come and get picked up in an ambulance. I can't do that.
This CrossFit thing is really that great.
Yeah, I was like, so I mean, I think if I die, I'm just gonna die. Like this is it. So
were you married at the time?
No, I was single. So there's no dependents or anything.
Yeah.
So when I say maybe I didn't really win, like I'm still on the ground. Greg is up bebopping and scatting. If you know Greg's
Just
Almondson's personality, happy, shaking people's hands, great job, congratulating everybody on their workout. Meanwhile, like I'm like, should I call an ambulance? He does the rest of the workouts that day. He's fine. Yeah. And meanwhile, like I don't think I functioned the rest of that day. Yeah. So, maybe I don't know if that was worth the 10-second win.
I mean, I feel like that as a failure was a great way to like learn. Because now, you look at the training volume and the training intensity. Like we talk about. When I took my level 1 mechanics, consistency, and intensity, right? Then and only then intensity is what they always talk about. So. At least now, like how it's evolved into, but like seeing from that growth, it's like intensity is like where the formula gets the catalyst. But you almost died. Yeah. Why did you almost die, Josh? No, just kidding. Okay, so we talked about that, and that sounds like an amazing experience. Was that what got you on staff, or because now you're a staff member, a regular staff member. From what I know, you still teach the level 1. You teach the weightlifting courses when Bo and Coach tell you, or whenever they're readily available. What else do you do from there?
That's for as far as CrossFit now. I've got a full-time job for the military, and then occasionally 1 or 2 weekends a month I'll work either a level 1 course or a weightlifting course, and that's about it. I did media, like some of the color commentary and analysis stuff at the games a few years ago.
Go to regional commentary too from time to time.
So I've done various things within the company, but now it's like just sticking to coaching, which is definitely my first love and like what I want to do.
Yeah. So with the military coaching, like strength and conditioning, that kind of work, like that's the stuff that you really love to do. So how did you segue, I guess, into that? Because you got the strength and conditioning job after being a staff member, or before being a staff member?
Before. So I started my first coaching job was in 1998 at Ohio University. Yeah. And then I went on to be an assistant at UCLA, and then I got a head strength coach job at UC Riverside in 2001, and it was 2002, 2003 when I found CrossFit. Yeah. And in terms of being on staff, in the early days, Greg Glassman did everything, and like people were just kind of there, like helping out. Yeah. Nothing was really defined. Like you weren't necessarily on staff. Like, hey, we're having a level 1 in 2 months. You want to help out? Yeah. And you go and you hang out and have fun and stuff.
You almost die.
Yeah. And then it got more organized later on in terms of that. So
now to establish like more of a timeline, where was it when? Because for me as a fan, I guess I could say, is that I knew you from the games. Like I knew you from Every Second Counts. See this guy in his garage doing a snatch that's not a snatch in my opinion. Well, I can't say that because then Coach will kill me. Oops, sorry, Coach will kill me. I'll see him on Sunday and then get so mad. It was a snatch that I wasn't traditionally used to seeing. It was a split. You took a split jerk and a snatch and you did it. And I was like, what is he doing? But then I've come to find out you're like the second fittest man on earth and stuff. Can you talk to us about how that came into fruition?
Yeah, in terms of competing at the games and
how did you? Because you went to you had to compete against Greg Almondson and hate that, and then after that, how did the timeline go ahead and continue on to being introduced into here are the games, here's continual staff work?
So early on in the early seminars, particularly the military gigs, gotta remember at the time CrossFit wasn't well known, and almost in vetting itself, they needed Greg Glassman needed somebody to go, and when he went to a military gig, he needed somebody to go and essentially mop everybody up and get their attention. Yeah. Here's these people, they train like this, and they're fitter than you. Yeah. And we'd go to military gigs and we'd let them pick. What are the exercises that you want to do? And we're going to put it together. We're in Fort Lewis, and they wanted to put body armor on and do shuttle runs and pull-ups, and I think lift a rock. it was all these things that they trained all the time. They got to pick it, put it into a workout, and me and Greg Amundsen crushed them. And then it opens their eyes. Like, they're beating us at our own game. Like, when we put body armor on, we should win something.
Yeah.
Like
that's our bread and butter.
No, we're running. We run all the time. We should, and we'd go and beat them, and it would open their eyes. And then the other part of that was, this stuff wasn't as widely available on the internet, and there weren't necessarily fire breathers doing CrossFit in every gym. So it opened people's eyes to, oh, that's what intensity looks like. I thought I was going hard. Here's this guy doing reps twice as fast as me. And it opened some eyes. So we were kind of there to turn heads, open eyes, and kind of win people over in the very early days. So that kind of led to, and I don't even know who suggested. Somebody suggested we should get everybody together, have a barbecue, and find out who's the fittest. Put some workouts together and have a competition, and that turned into the first CrossFit Games.
And then you won that one.
I wish. I got second. And I never, to be honest, I didn't take it seriously. The very first CrossFit Games, maybe this goes back, maybe I was the first sponsored athlete, because the games in 2007, I wasn't going to go. Coach Glassman calls me up and says, hey, you coming to this thing? I was like, oh no, I'll just do the workouts at home after, and I'll compare my times to these guys. And I was like, I don't want to spend the money on traveling up there, for this. Cause like, I didn't realize what it was. Like, literally, hey,
it's a barbecue.
Barbecue, right?
At somebody's house.
Like,
at Dave's house. I don't care.
Like, I'm not dropping $1,000 on going and
Did coach end up just like doing paying for your flight?
So Coach Glassman was like, if we pay for your travel, will you come? I was like, absolutely. So I guess I didn't take it serious enough as I should have, because it sure would have been nice to have
been able
to pull that off. I can't say that even if I take it seriously, I would have won, but I definitely didn't approach the first two CrossFit Games. Interestingly enough, the third one, I actually trained for it, and I did my worst. So
oh no.
Who knows? Maybe the laid back approach was better.
Well, I mean, at this point, like, your laid back approach was like, I want to like destroy myself so that I can beat Greg Amundsen.
Yeah. So when I say laid back approach, I mean like in terms of I guess it was never laid back. I was doing 2-a-days from high school all the way through until I stopped 2-a-days when I turned 35 and I decided to stop competing in 2010. So I had done 2-a-days, at least 2-a-days all the way through. Even before CrossFit, it was, okay, I'm going to lift and I'm going to condition. I did that every day, 6 days a week for 2 decades.
Dang.
So
years.
In terms of getting, when CrossFit came around, I was ready because I'd done all the training. Like muscle ups were new, but everything else, right? Everything else was, I'd done handstand push-ups. Like, that was a regular part of my training. Like, Olympic lifting, of course, gave me a huge advantage.
You were the Matt Fraser at the time. Well, let's fast forward a little bit. When did you're talking about, like, you took down 2 days. When did you stop, like, doing like competitive training? When you were full time on staff? Like, was this in 2013, 2012?
2010. So 2010 was one. I turned 35 at that time. Had my first kid, and I got a new job.
It was Luke, right?
Yeah, it was Luke. A new job with the military, and I was married then for 2.5 years. So
your amazing wife, Mary.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, your wife. You give her some really great workouts to do. Either that, or dude, she kills it.
Oh, she's a great athlete. Yeah, she's super strong, super fit, super great mom, super great wife. Like, I definitely lucked out.
You just keep telling it, like, say every single great thing about her.
Yeah. So I mean, she looks like a runway model, and she snatches over 180 pounds. So that's
okay. You don't have to say that her snatch is better than mine. I have a shoulder thing right now.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Okay, well then, actually, sorry, you were saying you had your first kid, you got married with Mary and stuff. Like this is what, 2010?
2010. Yep.
Okay.
So to me, it was just time to transition, like and my body was telling me, hey, 2-a-days are rough.
Yeah.
It's training at that level, the level you need to be to at least be competitive at the games. Even back in 2010, I mean, that's when Rich came on the scene. Graham won that year.
Yeah.
So that was kind of dropped out there and went to one workout a day, and kind of haven't looked back.
Well, actually, let's talk a little bit about your son, and actually the shirt that you're wearing right now. Give 5 minutes. So, boom, shameless plug if you're watching the video. Give 5 minutes. What is that? We talk about you having this amazing foundation. Can you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah. So my oldest son Luke was diagnosed on the autism spectrum. I'm gonna be terrible with dates and all that stuff. I remember it was Valentine's Day, either 2012 or 2013.
Because I know we had the event in 2013.
Oh yeah. So it might have been. It was probably 2013 then, maybe 2012. I don't remember which year exactly, but that of course hits you like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
And it's a big deal. Of course, anytime your kids have anything that's not perfect, like you're gonna spaz out, of course, and that was a rather big deal. So we're kind of working our way through that and figuring things out. And once we kind of got things figured out, or got him some help and got a routine established and a plan and whatnot, it popped into my mind. I wanted to give back. I wanted to do something for those in the community, because we were very fortunate in that San Diego County is one of the best counties in the state of California to get help for kids with Luke's type of autism, or any type of autism, which is interesting because I moved from Riverside County, which I found out is one of the hardest places to get services.
Really?
So, and that was like, and I of course didn't know that when I took a new job and moved, but it's kind of funny how things kind of pan out in that regard. So, one, San Diego County is one of the best places to get services.
Yeah.
And two, my wife was a full-time stay-at-home mom, and navigating those waters and getting him to the services, like, she's a full-time stay-at-home mom with a master's degree, and it was not an easy process to do all the paperwork and all the steps that it takes. I can't imagine families that either both parents are working or they don't have the background with filling out applications and all that stuff, how hard it would be for them to get the same resources that my son had. So I wanted to give back in some small way. I definitely didn't have big plans for it, but I wanted to give back, and it was something that I could do, because when you're put in that situation, you realize kind of how little power you think you have. Like, you think you're this big bad CrossFit athlete, and I've got this successful,
big bad.
but you look like successful career, successful athlete, great marriage, like all these things, and then boom, this hits, and like you literally, like, I can do nothing, right? Like, I have no control over this, when you feel like you've gotten yourself where you were by controlling everything, right? So part of it was I wanted to give back, and I guess I wanted to feel like there was something that I could take ownership of and hold on to. So the original plan was, let's do it, CrossFitter, let's do a workout fundraiser. Yeah. It's like, I'll raise money for a local charity, and my goal was $2,500. Okay. So that was the plan, and somehow Ben Crookston and Josh Sukar, who started Train Heroic. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
The training program, for those that aren't familiar with it, it's like Wodify or any of those things. They track and train programs and send them out to people all over the world.
So they have an app. You can put your programs on there and have your athletes access them, or you can go there and buy programming that's already set by various famous people and not famous people, but it's almost like an iTunes for working out.
For training,
So they were just getting started with their company, is relatively new, and they said, hey, we want to help you with this. It's like, all right. And they grew this thing. Like the first year, I think we had over 500 locations. My goal was to do one location and raise $2,500. I think we had 500 locations and raised like $60,000 or $65,000.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then the last couple times we did the event, I think we were pretty close to like 1,000 locations, and I don't think we hit the $100,000 mark, but pretty darn close.
But I mean, in the span of things, like with most locations, like CrossFit gyms in general, that's a good portion of CrossFit gyms, especially like when you first started in 2013. There were not that many CrossFit gyms in general, and to have the community like outreach and come out of their way to help out. Like what did you guys end up doing? Like when you guys built out this Lift Up Luke is what it's called.
Yep, and it's Lift Up Autism now, but it started as Lift Up Luke. You know what? Like Train Heroic did all the heavy lifting, all the they set up the website, they set up the payments. They take the payments and give it to the charities. Really, all I did was raise awareness. Essentially, like I had the idea, I programmed it. I was like, hey, this is how it should operate, and the Train Heroic guys made it happen. But luckily, I had a platform from my fame in CrossFit that would get the word out and get people interested in it. And then I also had I can send a email to Rich Froning and get a response and I'll put this on my Facebook or my Instagram. So I had Rich and Dan Bailey and just a ton of top CrossFitters helping us promote it. So it really got the word out. And then the other big part was, I'll bet you every single CrossFit affiliate in the world has a member that has a family member that's affected by autism. So it's one of those that it caught fire within the gyms, and people could connect to it, they could relate to it, and participation was really good.
So let's talk about it briefly. Like what do you have people do? Like what's the workout, or what do you have the affiliates do?
Okay, so the affiliates, they just sign up, and it's pretty much it's fairly easy for them because everything's Train Heroic does everything. They've got a website for sign up. Like the affiliates don't have to take any money or anything like that. They simply arrange a date for a workout, kind of like the Open. So people sign up, they show up at the gym facilitates the workout. The only thing really the gym has to do, if you sign up early enough, your t-shirt gets delivered to the gym.
That shirt right there that you're wearing?
Or this is one version. There's a new version every year.
Nice.
So actually the t-shirt, you pay extra if you deliver it to your house. The t-shirts always show up at the gym. You gotta pick up your t-shirt at the gym.
So you have to technically do the workout.
And logistically makes it way easier on Train Heroic for getting the t-shirts out. So the gym just runs a workout like they would any other day. And
now is it free to do, to host a workout?
Yeah, it's completely free to host the workout.
So you don't even have to pay Train Heroic for
even the participants can sign up and not pay. They can just be
there to do it.
To do it. They don't have to donate or to buy a t-shirt or anything along those lines. So I wanted to keep it. I kind of took a page. The big one, still the big one, is Barbell for Boobs, and they do Grace. And I kind of took that model in that I wanted a challenging but short workout. That you could run a bunch of people through fast. Like literally with Lift Up Autism, it's a 5-minute AMRAP. So
as many rounds and reps as possible.
And when an affiliate signs up, they get a whole email packet of how to do this. Like, here's how you set it up, here's how you run the heat. So even if you had most of them are good to go now. They do the open anyways, so similar format. But even if you had no idea, like it gives you instructions on how to run the workout, how to scale, like what are appropriate scales, like for people that maybe never knew CrossFit, but never done CrossFit, but they're interested in this this particular charity, and they show up. Here's scales for them. Here's how to do the whole thing. But realistically, like it's a 5-minute workout. If you run a heat every 10 minutes, so you go 5 minutes on, 5 minutes to change out, like you can get this done. Most affiliates have less than 50 people do the workout. Some of them are more, but even like 50 people, easy hour. You're in and out really quick. And same thing for the participant. Like they're gonna get a good workout and be done. It's not gonna take up the whole Saturday or whatever. But I used my son's birthday to program it. So April, we do 4 power cleans, 155, 105 for the women, and then 24 double unders. Okay. So 424. Yeah. And then 10 pull-ups or shoot. Now I can't remember if it's chest to bar pull-ups or pull-ups. I think it's just pull-ups.
I remember doing chest to bar pull-ups one year, and then it was just regular pull-ups, and I was like, dang it.
I think it's regular pull-ups, and it's one of those workouts on paper. You're like, oh, this is too easy, and it completely wrecks you.
Yeah, I know. I was watching old games footage. Well, not games footage, but like old footage from the CrossFit archives, and I saw like Miranda Oldroyd. Well, now Alcaraz.
Yep.
Yeah, and like Spieler, like your former competitor, doing it, and they're just like laid out on the floor, and I'm like, God. Okay, 5 minutes. Let's go. And it's like, it's just 5 minutes of you can't really let off the gas pedal. And it's why not give 5 minutes? Why not do this? And that's, always usually believe, like with the CrossFit community, everybody's like, well, I mean, I have an hour in my day, right? Why not do that?
Yep.
So, I mean, it's an amazing foundation. I mean, you hosted it at Outlier CrossFit, my old gym. It's a great place. Huge facility. What was the turnout? Trying to bring back the memories.
Yeah, that was. I think we did that the first year we did it there, and we've like when I say we, Mary and myself will bounce around to different affiliates every year. We don't necessarily have like a home affiliate we do it at.
But I mean, like just the volume of people.
I want to say at Outlier that year there were maybe like 80 people that did the workout or something. Like there was a really good turnout.
And working space at Outlier back before they expanded. I mean, that was like maybe 4,000 or 5,000 square feet of like working space, and then you had your rig in there too. Yeah. So that's a lot of people packed in.
Yeah, it was great. We had the local news was out and did a story on it and whatnot. So it was good.
Yeah. So we'll continue to bring awareness to it, and is the website still liftupluke.com
or is liftupautism.com? And this year we're taking a break. Train Heroic, who does all the work on this, needed a year off to focus on their business. They're making some changes there and have the resources to dedicate to Lift Up Autism this year, but be back next year.
Well, I mean, if you still want to participate in the workout, I believe it's going to be hosted globally on the 28th of September, right? You could still sign up online. You could still do the workout, correct?
Yeah. Well, it's not. There's nothing official this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I mean, if you guys still want to do a kick-ass workout, you still should do this
workout. The workout will get you for sure.
I mean,
you can look. You can look online and look at the charities that we donate to, and you can go to them direct and just donate to them direct.
Yeah, and tell your affiliates, for next year we're gonna have this workout in and programmed, and it's gonna hurt really good.
Put it on your calendar. It's usually September-ish. Every year.
Yeah, I know I did it last year on like the 24th when I was looking at my stuff. I have to see what I have to beat. Beat myself, not Greg Amundsen. Okay, I'm not gonna try to throw up and die in 2 minutes and 48 seconds. God, I can't believe your first friend score was still like 3 seconds away from my best lifetime score.
Once you're under 3 minutes, you're pretty rock solid.
Yeah, but it's the like it's that moment where you're like, I have to be under 3 minutes. Oh, all right, let's go, kind of a thing. I mean, going to say like CrossFitters now versus CrossFitters in your day, or we're very pretentious about our lives and our bodies, I guess. So last little portion. I always ask the guests this. It's very simple, cookie cutter. What drives you? What drives Josh Everett every day?
You know, it's you sent me an email and said that question was beyond. It's like cool. Like it's not something you step back and think about very much. It was like, man, I don't even know. But I came up something. My foundation is my faith in my Savior Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You know, you believe Jesus, you believe the Bible, and the Bible tells you to do all things under the glory of God. So that's always, I think that's the foundation that sets the tone for the drive and do things the right way and get after it and do the best you can, because you're not only representing yourself, you know, you're representing God and doing it for Him, not necessarily for your boss or for the paycheck or for whatever. So that's definitely the foundation. And then I think another piece to this, honestly, is... I
mean, I wouldn't want you to lie.
Yeah.
I mean, especially after you just talked.
But what I'm saying is, you know, it's a routine, it's a habit that you've established, that this is who I am and this is what I'm going to be and this is how I'm going to work. And you apply that to all your areas. And for those listening, if you're someone sitting there like, I wish I had more drive, like I want to have more drive, my suggestion was find one area of your life that you're super passionate about and do everything you can to have drive, whatever you consider to be drive in that area. And then you're going to figure out systems and ways of attacking that, and you're going to be successful because you're intentional and focused on it. And then you're going to take those systems, that way how you establish drive, and you're going to start to apply it to other areas of your life as well. And for me, this was sports was easy. Because growing up, I was a 49ers fan. Don't know how an Ohio kid gets to be a 49ers fan. Actually, I do, but I'm not getting into that story. But Roger Craig was one of the original workout warriors, so looked up to him. And then Jerry Rice became my favorite player, and he was, you know, a big workout guy, if not the hardest working guy in NFL history. Yeah, that became my model. And I remember in middle school, moving up to 8th grade for football. And 8th grade's a big deal because it's where all the Pop Warner teams pour into one team finally for the school. And first couple weeks, like, you know, I'm getting kind of equal reps trying to be running back with all these other guys that are trying to be running back, and there's really no kind of separation. And at the end we did sprints, basically 200-meter sprints, goalpost and back, right? And I had been running just at the front, but with everybody else. And I ran track from the time I was 10 years old. And, you know, coaches are yelling out times as we cross. And I'm like, this is pretty slow, actually. And after a couple weeks of, like, being in the pack in terms of practice, and, like, clearly, like, nobody's earned a starting position at this point, right? One day, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to run these a lot faster. So the sprints at the end of practice, I ended up beating everybody by like 20 yards on a 200-meter sprint, and that got the coach's attention, and that moved me to the front of the pack for the running back position that I wanted. And there it finally clicked that I can outwork people to earn stuff. You just got to work harder than other people, and did that for a while. And you know, in sports, really applied that to sports. And at the end of high school, I had pretty poor GPA, like 2.6, and I only got that because I wanted to go to college and worked hard my junior year. But was a very mediocre student. And sometime between my senior year of high school and going to college, I decided that I was going to apply the same work ethic that I did for sports to the classroom. And it was easy to make that transition because I knew how to work, right, in this one area. So and then that drive is just kind of, I've approached that with everything I've done.
That's great. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, Josh. So just to close out, are there any places or platforms that people can or should follow you on? JoshEverett.com.
No, I've got a Facebook. I've got an Instagram, Joshua P. Everett. But I really don't have a lot to sell you, so I don't have a lot of motivation to be out there too much.
If I'm getting riled up over that driven speech, I'm sure everybody in the audience would be riled up too, and they'd want to watch you do your split snatch. Okay.
Oh, cool.
God, that split snatch. Joshua P. Everett on Instagram, and then don't forget Lift Up Autism.
Yep.
Make sure you guys check that out. Donate to their partners, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.